One of the more unknown reasons why we have dairy products on Shavous is to commemorate the memory of when Moshe Rabbeinu was only 3 months old, 80 years prior to the holiday of Shavuos of Matan Torah, when Moshe was floating on the Teva in the Nile, and Paro's daughter Basia grabbed him out of the Teva, saw that he was crying, handed him to an Egyptian maidservant, which of course he did not feed from, right? Moshe's holy mouth, and eventually was reunited with his mother Yocheved, in which he naturally fed from her breast milk. The milk itself is dairy and gave vitality to Moshe the same way Torah gives vitality. And so it's another reason why we have dairy products on Shavuos. Also, we have honey, dvash. The Torah, many examples where the Torah is compared to dvash, to honey. King David says that the Torah is sweeter. It's metuka midavash, sweeter than honey. And for a lot of us, we never really taste that sweetness, that real sweetness that the rabbis always talk about, how crazy we need to get about Torah. Yom v'layla, day and night, we should be meshugana. The Torah is almost like a drug. We get so close to Hashem, we get intoxicated, the fever of Torah. We hear about it, the rabbis are excited about it. How do we get excited? How do we jump off of our seats and feel that sweetness, that honey? We know honey, how tasteful it is, that first or second teaspoon of honey, but by the fifth or sixth, you're like almost nauseous. But Torah is supposed to be different. The more sweetness you have, the more sugar, the better it gets. So how do we experience that? So there's a verse in Parshas Vayishla or B'Shalach, when the Jews left Mitzrayim and they crossed the Yam Suf. They had 3 days no water, and they were Jews complaining to Moshe. They said, "My nishta, what can we drink? We're thirsty. 3 days, there's no water here in the desert." And Hashem shows Moshe a tree. He showed him a tree and says to Moshe, "Throw it in the water. V'yishlach el hamayim." And what's going to happen to the water? V'yimtiku. It's going to become mituka. It's going to become sweet. And the rabbis play on this and say this is the eitzah. It's not the tree, eitzah. This is the advice that the Torah is giving, that many of us have what's called a chitzonius perspective relationship, and a superficial relationship with the Torah. It's like when you walk into, a pool and you see your friends in the pool and you dip your toe in and it's cold, and you got your towel over your shoulder there. You're like, I don't know, should I jump in, not jump in? They're in. They say, no, it's warm. Come on in. And you feel like, but it feels cold to me. And there's a moment of pause. What should you do? And of course, they either throw you in or you jump in yourself. Within a few minutes, you're playing just like because what happens once you jump in, you move around, it becomes warmer. Torah is the same way. You need to get off of the steps and jump in. And that's the matuka. The matuka lies within the water. It's not about the quantity of learning, it's the quality. It's like, the more that you lick the lollipop to get to the real taste of the gum inside, you got to lick off the outward layers. That's how Torah works also. There's a concept we know that the rabbis always encourage to toil, a melis b'Torah, to have a melis, to sweat and to work it through. The gematria, the numerical value of a melis and matuka are the exact same. The more toil we do in Torah, the sweeter it gets. And perhaps that should be the message of this Shavuos for all of us, that we should be able to experience that sweetness, that devash, that sweetness of Torah for ourselves. And that may mean jumping into parts of the pool that we never did. Grab a charusa for certain things. Maybe learn slower and deeper than just faster in quantity. We should feel that sweetness, and that's the bracha that Hashem wants us to have this Shavuos, the bracha that we should all have. We should experience the sweetness, the matuka of Torah. Chag Sameach and a good Shabbos.